Good morning students. I hope you are following the video classes properly. Today we'll move into Civics Lesson 3 State Government. The Constitution of India envisages for a federal government that is having separate system of administration for the union and the state. That is, we have central government and state government. These are the two types of government we are following in India. That's the meaning of federal government. There are 28 states and 9 union territories. That is 9 means here recently we divided Kashmir as a union territory into Kashmir and Ladakh. So we have 9 union territories and we are considering Delhi as our national capital. The Constitution contains provision for the governance of both the union and the states. That is, the Constitution provides separate rules for the state government and central government. The 28 states have their own administration under the control of Chief Minister and Governor. The following flowchart depicts the structure of the state government. Under that, the state government consists of 3 wings: executive, legislature and judiciary. Under executive, we have governor, chief minister and council of ministers. These are under our executive. Then we have 2 houses under legislature, that is legislative council, upper house, and legislative assembly, lower house. Then under judiciary, we have high court, district courts and other courts. That comes under judiciary. That is the structure of state government. Now first we'll move into the executive. Under the executive, first one is about the governor. Under this governor is the constitutional head of the state executive, and governor of a state shall be appointed by the president. He was appointed by the president. The term of office is 5 years, but in some extent, with the pleasure of the president, it can be extended. Generally, the governor does not belong to the state where he is appointed. That is, he won't belong to that particular state. Consider our Tamil Nadu governor, that is Mr. Banwarilal Purohit. He belonged to Maharashtra. Okay, he belonged to Maharashtra, but he was appointed as a governor for Tamil Nadu. So, governor does not belong to that state where he is appointed. He can also be transferred from one state to another by the president, as well as he can also resign any time by addressing his resignation to the president. If you are not willing to continue as a governor, he can resign his post by sending his resignation to the president. The legislature of a state or a high court has no role in the removal of a governor. That is, the state government or as well as the high court cannot remove this governor. That is the executive wing of the state government. Under that, now second we'll move into what are the qualifications we need for the appointment of a governor. Regarding the qualifications of the governor, Article 157 and 158, 57 and 58 describes about the qualification of a governor. First one, he should be a citizen of India and must have completed 35 years of age, and he should not be a member of parliament or any state legislature. That is, he should not be a member of parliament or state legislature, and if he is a member of any state legislature, he automatically vacates his seat and assuming the office. So if you want to stand in as a governor, he want to resign his membership. He should not hold any other profitable occupation. That is, he should not work anywhere. These are the basic qualification for the appointment of the governor under Article 157 and 58. Now we'll move into what are the powers and functions of the governor. That is, the functions of governor depicts under Article 163 of the Constitution. Article 163. First one, executive powers. Under his executive power, he appoints the leader of the majority party in the state legislative assembly as the chief minister of the state. That is, when the election is over, those who got majority seat in the legislative assembly, they'll select one as a chief minister, and that chief minister is appointed by this governor. Then governor appoints other members of council of ministers on the recommendation of the chief minister. So council of minister also appointed. Then he appoints the chairman and members of state public service commission. So state public service commission will make appointments for the government servants. The chairman will be appointed by the governor. The governor appoints the state election commissioner and determines his condition of service and tenure of office. That is, state election commissioner also appointed by the governor, as well as the tenure, the term of office is also fixed by the governor. Governor acts as a chancellor of universities in the state. So in Tamil Nadu, not only in Tamil Nadu, where in all state, wherever you have universities, the chancellor is our governor. And the governor, he also appoints the vice chancellor of universities in the states. He directly rules a state when there is imposition of president rule in the state. That is, whenever emergency was declared by the president, that time the state will be under the control of government. These are the executive powers of the governor. That is, he can appoint the chief minister, he can appoint the council of minister, he appoints chairman of state public service commission as well as state election commissioner, and he want to act as a chancellor of universities. Okay, these are the executive powers of the governor. The governor is an integral part of the state legislature, so he can also enjoy some legislative powers. So now we'll move into what are the legislative powers of the governor. Governor has the right to summon, prorogue and state legislature and dissolve the state legislative assembly. That is, he can start the assembly. State legislature assembly can summon means he can gather with the head of our governor. Governor can address the state legislature at the commencement of the first session after general election and the first session of each year. So after the election is over, the first session of state assembly is headed by our governor. Then governor can send messages to the house of state legislature relating to a bill pending in the legislature. So he can send the bill relating to the legislature. Then he can appoint any member of legislative assembly to preside over its proceedings when the office of both the speaker and deputy speaker fall vacant. That is, whenever there is no speaker or deputy speaker in the legislative assembly, the governor can appoint the members to the legislative assembly. He can nominate one member to the state legislative assembly from the Anglo-Indian community. So from the beginning we are talking about this one, that is, we have in India, we have some certain percentage of Anglo-Indian community is living. So we are giving some 2.2% reservation, as well as here in the state assembly in Tamil Nadu as well as in other state we are giving one seat from Anglo-Indian community, and that one member will be nominated by the governor. The governor nominates 1/6 of the members of state legislative council from amongst the persons having special knowledge or practical experience in literature, science, art, and cooperative movement and social service. That is, governor can nominate 1/6 of members to a legislative council, those who are specialized in the field of literature, science, as well as participated in the cooperative movement and social service, and they can be nominated to the state legislative council. Every bill passed by the state legislature will become law only after its signature. So bill passed by the assembly must get assent from the governor. But when the bill is sent to the governor after it is passed by the legislature, he has the options to give his assent to the bill or withhold his assent to the bill or return the bill for the reconsideration of the legislature. That is his sign nominates for the passing a bill. So he can delay his signature as well as he can return for reconsideration. Then governor can promulgate ordinance when the state legislature is not in session under Article 213. That is, under Article 213, when the assembly is not in session, here the governor can promulgate ordinance. That is, he can proclaim certain things to the government as well as to the people. These ordinances must be approved by the legislature within 6 months. When the assembly gathered, within 6 months they want to pass this ordinance. Then the governor has to lay the annual reports to the State Finance Commission, State Public Service Commission, and Controller and Auditor General relating to the accounts of the state before the state legislature. That is, annual reports of all money matter must be prepared by the governor and submitted before the legislature. These are the legislative powers of the governor. That is, he can summon the assembly and the first meeting, he can organize the first meeting of the assembly, and he can send messages to the state legislature relating to the every bill, and he can appoint the members of legislative assembly, and he can nominate one member from Anglo-Indian community to the state legislature assembly, and he can nominate 1/6 of the members for state legislative council, and every bill passed by the legislature will become law only after his signature. And he can promulgate ordinance when the state legislature is not in session. Then he want to report all financial matters to the state legislative assembly. These are the legislative powers of the governor. Now we'll move into the financial powers of the governor. The Constitution confers on the governor the duty to get prepared and introduce to the state legislature the annual budget and also the supplementary budget if necessary. That is, when the state government is preparing annual budget under the state finance minister, the governor must participate in the preparation of the budget along with the state finance minister. Then money bill can be introduced in the state legislative assembly only with this prior recommendation. That is, with the recommendations of the governor, money bill can be introduced. The governor can make advances out of the state contingency fund to meet any unforeseen expenditures. That is, whenever any emergency occurs, that is unforeseen, when natural disaster, if there is natural disaster like flood, earthquake, like that, if anything occurs, he can release a fund to the people by releasing the contingency fund, that is emergency fund can be raised by our governor. Governor constitutes a finance commission after every 5 years to review the financial position of the panchayats and the municipalities. So you want to review the financial position of panchayats and municipalities by constituting finance commission. These are the financial powers of the governor. Now we'll move into what are the judicial powers of the governor. Governor appoints the Attorney General of the state, that is a senior advocate, to assist the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers. Then he makes appointment, postings and promotions of the district judges in consultation with the state high court, that is with the consultation of the chief justice of high court he can appoint and he can promote for the district judges for each district. Then the Chief Justice of High Court in the state is appointed by the President in consultation with him. That is, the Chief Justice will be appointed by the President, but the President will consult with the governors. Then, Governor can pardon, commute and reprieve punishment and receipt of appeals for mercy except death sentences. That is, if any criminals approach governor for his mercy, okay, he can pardon, he can forgive, as well as he can commute, that is change the nature of punishment, as well as he can temporarily reduce the punishment for the appeal of mercy except for the death sentences. So these are the judicial powers related to the governor. The next power, that is the discretionary power. These are the special powers for the governor. For their willingness, they can do these kind of powers. They can exercise these powers. The governor can reserve a bill for the consideration of the president. When the state legislature is passing any bill, he can send for the president's consideration. Then he can call the leader of any party to form ministry in the state when there is no clear-cut majority to any party in the legislative assembly after the general election. So after the election, if any political party is not willing to prove their majority, the governor can call any other party to form majority and to lead the government. Then he can dismiss the Council of Ministers when it is unable to prove the confidence of the Legislative Assembly. That is, if the Council of Ministers, they didn't get the confidence in the Assembly, they can be dismissed by the governor. These are the discretionary powers of the governor. The next one is about emergency powers. Under the emergency powers, if the governor is satisfied that the government of the state is not carried on in accordance with the provision of the Constitution, he may, under Article 356, recommended to the President to impose President rule in that state. That is, if the governor is not satisfied with the state government, he can recommend the President to declare emergency under Article 356. 356 declares state emergency. As soon as the President rule is imposed, the administration of the state is carried on by the governor as the representative of the president. So under Article 356, if the president imposes state emergency, here the governor is considered as a real administrative head of the state under the control of president. These are the emergency powers of the governor. The last one is the privileges of the governor. That is, what are the provisions of the governor. Under Article 361(1) provides for the following privileges. The governor of a state is not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his office. That is, the governor of the state is not responsible to answer to any law court in that particular state. Not only that alone, no process for the arrest or imprisonment of the governor of a state shall issue from any court during his term of office. That is, while he act as a governor for any particular state, that is, he cannot be arrested or imprisoned by any government or as well as by any court. So these are the privileges of the governor. So far we talk about the governor under the executive wing. That is, the governor is a constitutional head of the state executive. He was appointed by the president. Regarding the basic qualification, it describes under Article 157 and 158. So first one, he should be a citizen and completed 35 years of age, and he should not be a member of parliament, and he should not hold any other occupation. These are the qualifications we need for a governor. After that, we talk about the executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, judicial powers, and discretionary powers and emergency powers of the governor. And then finally, we talk about the privileges of the governor. So we are considering the governor as a state executive. State executive is the governor. Mr. Banwarilal Purohit is Tamil Nadu governor. Whenever time permits, you collect information about other governors of our India. Students, I hope you understood this topic, that is the governor and what are its powers. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you, Ma.